welcome to another Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary, or should I say, goal? Yes, today is Sanctuary Soccer Sunday, or as the rest of the world calls it, football. If you've been following my videos or my channel, or especially my playlist for sports, you probably could tell I'm mostly a baseball, football, with some basketball kind of guy. I like all sports, but soccer was something that kind of came on later in my appreciation of all things sports. Really came over in the last probably 15, 20 years of having more of appreciation for it. Didn't have that in my school growing up. It wasn't, didn't have soccer leagues or anything like that when I was growing up. But, once I started having kids and they started playing sports, soccer was a natural fit. And so started picking up some of that. Even got sucked into coaching my son's team for a little bit of time. So soccer is a great sport, and in fact, for most of the world, it is the sport. And so, like, how can I have a playlist on sports if I don't cover soccer? Well, today that's all I'm gonna cover. I'm gonna do soccer all day long. I've got this game here, 11 Football Manager from Portal Games. It just came out. It has, I think, 5 or 6 expansions slated for it. I have a few of those, spoiler alert, so I'll cover those as well. And then I plan on doing an overall video of my soccer games, right? Which, of course, this will be part of it once I open it up. I probably won't be able to tell a lot about the play of it just yet because I will have opened it up today as well. Anyway, so let's on with the show. 11 is, as it says, is a Football Manager board game. So this is not a tactical soccer game or a statistical soccer game or a simulation. This is a simulation of the actual game of soccer, but this is a simulation of managing soccer. You're more of a general manager, managing the team, drafting players, managing your front office, managing concessions and marketing and your stadium. So this is a full general manager, owner of a soccer club, and putting all those things together. Now there is there are games that there's a mini game or a game within a game in that you do play soccer games, but it's a very abstracted type of soccer game where you're just going playing out the players that you've picked and are managing, putting them in a formation, and seeing how they perform. And you play. There's a whole league that you can play. This is very solitaire friendly. In fact, I think there's like a solitaire specific rules. And one of the expansions, again, spoiler alert, is a solo campaign expansion. So you can, it has a lot of focus on solitaire, which for this kind of game, for a Football Manager type game, I tend to play those solitaire. Playing these opposed, there's still a game there, and I think they can be fun. But to me, it's the whole kind of role-playing aspect of you being a general manager and trying to manage and handle all these different facets of a soccer club, and trying to put it all together, and then seeing how it plays out. It's, to me, that's more of a solo experience and more of a putting yourself in the shoes of that person or that kind of manager. So that's why I find it a little bit more like a role-playing aspect of being a general manager, which is, again, for me, I enjoy those solo. This game plays multiplayers, and I bet it's fine. I'll probably try to play it with my kids at some point. But anyway, that just giving you my context or impression of why I got this going in. Let's take a look at the back of the box here. It's from Portal Games. I've covered some other Portal games. I even have a playlist, so you can check out my other Portal games that I've covered. I've got much more. If you ever look at my channel and look at my playlist, that is just a tip of the iceberg of the games that I have for each of those publishers or designers or what have you. But I'm trying to catch up. Anyway, Portal is a very good, solid game company. They usually make games that are a little bit off the beaten path. They're primarily a Euro game company, and but they have good production, good design, unique mechanics and rules at times. And this doesn't disappoint. It doesn't disappoint. I mean, well, we'll get in the box and see, but from what I've seen on it on other social media, there's good contents in here, and there's solid gameplay. Although it's a little chaotic because there's a lot of stuff you're doing here because you're managing an entire franchise here. So anyway, here's some of the expansions that's going to be coming out. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 5 expansions. I've got a couple of those that I'll cover. Ages 14 plus, 90 minutes, 1 to 4 players. It has 13 boards. You have stadium, club, match, and league table. You have 8 dice, 190 tokens. You have 90 plus wooden markers, 270 cards, 3 solo sheets, and a rule book. Okay, and basically, as I said here, you're going to be managing an entire soccer club or franchise and trying to get it to succeed. Now you're not going to play a full season. I mean, you'll play a season from its terms, but again, it's kind of abstracted and reduced, and you'll see how your club fares, and you can kind of take it over time. And as I said, one of the expansions is a solo campaign expansion, so that you'll be just focusing on advancing your club over the years. So here's the box cover, nice, very clear, crisp graphics, as you can see here. Decent box, typical Euro type game box. Here is the rule book. Rule book's a little hefty here. It is got credits on the back. Looks like it's 32 pages if you count the back page, which is basically a player aid and credit. So that's good. You've got a little player aid here that you can refer to for the game. But 32 pages, and it's a nice big square book that you find in typical Euro games. A little bit of a glossy here. You've got your table of contents. That's going to be all the stuff you need to figure out where to go. You got setup, overview, goal of the game, gameplay, end of week, end of game, additional rules, solo game, player aid, and credits. There you have it. So here's all the different components. As you can see here, there's a lot in this box and a lot of varied type of components, from counters to wooden bits to cards to dice to boards. Oh my. So you've got quite a bit of stuff going on here. And that's why I say it looks a little bit chaotic. And one reason why I probably like to play this solo, because then I can kind of sort all this out, figure out what I'm doing, and follow it, not have to worry about teaching the game and then figuring out where all the bits go for 2 or 3 or 4 people. But anyway, that's just me. Here's your setup. Here's your transfer area. Here's how you set that up. And so that's basically like the people you're going to try to recruit or get on your team, and the players as you develop. And there's events that happen each week. I mean, you go through like a week of kind of training your team up and having things happen to your team and dealing with, I guess, marketing, and then you play a game and see how that happens. So again, it really is a manager sim, a general manager sim, not necessarily a soccer manager sim, not necessarily the coach, but more of the general manager aspect of the game of soccer. So if you're really looking for a heavy soccer and strategy and what formation to use or using real players, this is probably not your game. This is more of a, the general manager aspect or the business aspect of managing a soccer club. Here's your player boards, and you see you have a stadium here, and there's going to be stuff that you can upgrade your stadium over time. Here's the club board, and there's certain attributes that you're tracking for your club over time, like money and training and stuff like that you're going to be kind of modifying, and different cards will help you modify that. Here's the player boards, and this is where you're going to kind of set up for games or matches that you have. And again, you're not going to field a full 11, even though the game says 11. Mine goes to 11. Let me know what the reference for that is. I'll give you a bonus. But you're going to, it's abstracted, so you're going to have a certain number of players and using them to fill in what your results are, and then you're going to be playing against either an opponent if you're playing with more than up to 4 people, or there's a built-in AI or opponent that you play up against each week or each match. Some more on the player boards here. Here's the league tables. This is where you're going to keep track of how you're doing in the league and trying to advance up. Interesting art there. So so here's gameplay. Here's Monday. So as again, you go through a week. So here's what happens on Monday. You have like a board meeting. So again, this is really going into the whole ownership of a club and some of the things you have to deal with in that regard. So you have a board meeting, then you got gameplay Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What happens in those days? Happy days. Then you keep going on. There's a lot of stuff that happens in that mid part of the week. So this goes over all the different things that you can do there. And then you have match day. So this is when you actually play your match. And so this is how you play the game. So this is kind of the game within the game. This is, the actual game, and all this other stuff is kind of leading up to it, and it's the overall management of your club. So this is all the stuff about match play here, and how you're going to put, depending on your formation and depending on your players, you're going to have them aligned up here, and then you're going to go down columns and do matchups, and then add up points and compare and see if you win or lose or tie, because tying is not uncommon in soccer or football. Then you have the end of the week, and of course you got a doctor here because there's some training and upkeep of your players, and they can get injured and all that other fun stuff. And here's end of game and where you end up on victory points, and some additional rules like injury, maintenance, match effects, objective cards, opponent deck, temporary and permanent strength and weakness tokens. Here's the solo game rules right here. And there's not, that's it. There's your solo game. You got 1 page of solo game rules. Again, the way the game plays out, it's kind of built for a little bit of a solitaire play or two-handed solo, right? And here's your player aid to talk about each of the day. Like this deals with what are some of the things you need to know about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday type activities. And then you're going to get into probably a player aid on the match day. Yeah, that's what's on the back play there. So there's the rules. Now let's look at some of the bits. So these are the player boards that you're going to have here. Look interesting there. Let's crack those open and see what we have for player boards. As I said, I'm not soccer's. I like soccer. I enjoy soccer. Enjoyed work with my kids when they played soccer. But, it's not the top of my list, but the aspect of managing a club or managing a franchise or, and all the thing that goes into it, that's what kind of this game appeals to me. This just looks interesting. Now, these boards are very interesting because you've got a little bit, I don't know if you can tell on here, but there's a little bit of a gloss to this. This feels like real thick cardboard, but it feels like there's like a plastic or some kind of finish on here. If you probably can't see that. Maybe I can get some glare and you can see it. It's really nice. It's kind of interesting. So here's some of the player boards here for your team. So these are the different things you're tracking here. These 4 lines here. Then you have staff, stadium, and players for stuff. And there's gonna be some cards here. And then you've got your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and weekend slots. So we've got 4 of those, because it's 1 to 4 players. Then we have these game boards or match boards. So this is where you're going to be setting up your players for a match. You got defenders, midfield, and forwards. You got a bench. Of course, you'll have a goalie. So you imagine you'll have 4 of those, and yes, you do. And they have somewhat of a finish on there as well. There's a little bit of a thicker finish on the top of that. The back feels like a little bit like just shiny cardboard or poster board. Then here's your stadiums that you're going to have here, and there's slots to upgrade your stadiums and do stuff with your stadiums. And of course, you're going to have 4 of those. So those are the kind of your different player boards you're going to have for the different aspects of the game. One is more administrative, one is for game day, and one is kind of your stadium. That's how you bring in the fans. So this is these are scenarios. That's interesting. This is a little, so you can kind of have a game within a game here and do some scenarios. So we've got scenario 1. And what you want to do with that, scenario 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're double-sided. So this is a different way to play the game. You'll have this setup. Tell you how to set up different than I guess the normal rules, what your season goals are, any special rules, and how you win the scenario. So that's kind of cool. I mean, that, again, this looks to me like it's more focused on, the solitaire type play. Here's all the tokens. I mean, the one thing you got to admit, this is a colorful game. I mean, look at those colors there. My goodness. Whew. And those are some of the teams you're going to be playing against. So you keep track on that league chart or board. And they're double-sided. And you got your players and their jerseys here, or kits, whatever you want to call that there. That's cool. Then you have, these are some of the upgrades for your stadiums, for, upgrading your stands, and some bonuses that you can get here, and what they do bonuses for. Kind of cool. And again, these kind of relate to those 4 tracks that you're constantly trying to keep track of. I think one's money and one's fitness, and I don't know what the one might be reputation, and I don't know. I got to read into the rules a little bit more, but those are double-sided as well. Look at all that stuff in the box there. So we got me some cubes, little cubes. We got some round wooden disc with my silica intake for the day. Got some thicker round wooden disc. We've got just a purple disc with a big bag of silica. So we have some dice here, some different kind of dice. They're not just your 6-sided dice. You got some zeros on there. All kinds of cool dice. And just the color. Everything's so much color. You've got your little score track here. I wonder if this is like the solo pad or something they were saying about. So you got a little pad here to go with your stuff. Oh, here we got the league board here. So that's where you have those different teams. You're going to keep track of how they're going up there. That's a nice little thick cardboard board there. And we've got a lot of cards. Lots and lots of cards here. So let's go this direction here. Looks like we've got the old side thing. I don't have any fingernails, so I'm not doing well with that. So let's scrap that and get right to the meat of it all here. So, and I'm not doing anything today with this. So you got 3 decks of cards here. 2 are regular size cards, and 1 is a little bit smaller cards. I believe those are the players, are the player cards. These are wrapped pretty well, I tell you that much. So what do we got in here? So these are like the board meeting cards. So you're going to do this on Monday. So these are all the different things that could happen in the board meetings. And there's quite a bit of stuff here that's going to take place. And there's some options on what happens. So this is kind of like your random events of what's going to happen, like cooperate with the rivals, fight, training issues, old stands. There's all kinds of, it's all the stuff you're going to face as a club or a general manager or an owner, and this is your board meeting. So that's kind of like random events that's going to throw a wrench into your plans. These are some of the people that you can recruit. These are directors for the board, and then they do different things. They have special abilities and special bonus abilities. So how you pick your board, to how you comprise your board to run your team makes a difference as well. And there's a lot of variety there. Then we have see what these things are. These are, I don't know what these are. But you got talent school, derby, only the results matter. So these are the, don't know what this is, but this looks like another aspect of what something that's going to affect your game and what you're playing towards. Then you've got, these are the teams you're playing against. So these are the different teams in the league. And they're going to have different, you have a scouting report. And it's going to tell you how they play. Like they play a 3-4-3 formation, tell you a little bit about the team. And then this is the matchup that they're going to use for that game that you play. You know, they have their ratings and where they're playing on their formation and the stuff like that. So there is some strategy or tactics, I should say, to the game. When you're playing a match, you know, you get to pick the formation, but you also get to pick where they fit within the formations. Like this is a 3-4-3, but they're putting their 4-3 in the middle and 1 off to the side. That's going to make a difference of how you match up against them as well. So there is, you know, strategy or some tactics within the game of how you decide to play out your teams there. So, and there's all, you know, and there's several for each one of these because there's some randomness to who you're playing and what they play on that day. So this is basically the AI in some regards. So let's get to the other deck of cards here. As you can see, there's a lot going on in this game, and this is typical for a Portal game. I mean, Portal has a tendency to really try to beef up the feel or effect of whatever theme they're covering, but they also you know, try to focus on a lot of gameplay as well. So these are, so here's some more of those teams. We got a lot more of these teams here. So more teams to play against. And of course, you got a little scouting report on the back there. That's kind of nice. Let's see what we got here. Oh, these are the type of corporations I think you can be, or sponsors. Maybe this is sponsors. Yeah, so I think you get sponsors to help you out, and whether you want to, whether they're just like maybe a one-time sponsor, maybe put them on a billboard, or maybe you put them on your jersey, because that's like a little bit more permanent if you put them on your jersey. So these are different sponsors. So this is like the economic side of the game, you know, how much money you get and some bonuses that they have. So again, this is more of a business and economic, you know, sim than it's just the straight playing of soccer. So you got all kinds of different, you know, sponsors here. Like we put the basic bratwurst, got to put that on our jersey, you know, stuff like that. And they have different effects in the game. So that's kind of cool. Then you have, these are different roles. These are stewards, scouts. So these are different employees, agents, doctor, mental trainer, fitness trainer. So these are all the different kind of employees that you're going to hire to help out train your players or help scout for players and get new players. Or here's your tactic analyst. So there's all masseuse or masseur, security manager, got to have that. So there's all kinds of all kinds of different. Here's architect, that's probably going to be helping you on your stadium upgrades. So all kinds of different people in there. Some of these people are double-sided. I don't know what that is. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so there you have it. Again, lot going on in here. And I think overall it's not, you know, overly complex if you just, because it follows kind of a day-by-day approach, you know, for a week on what you can do. Like there's all the Monday stuff, then there's the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday stuff, and then you have a match, and then you have an end of a week. So it's not, and so there's a lot of do and rinse and repeat, but just by looking at all this stuff, it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on. Got a little bit of bend in the cards there. So these are the players. Let's see what these are on here. Oh, these are different formations. So these are the different formations that you can pick. Basic formation, some more advanced stuff, and they have some different advanced effects. That's cool. So if you really are into soccer and know all this stuff, you might get a kick out of just looking at it from a 50,000-foot view on how to manage a club. Now, these are the players that you're going to have, and they have different ratings and where they play. Like this is a forward, and talks a little bit about him and gives you some symbols and stuff. So this is this is, at the end of the day, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the best of these people to field the best team. So there's all the different players that you can choose from over the game here. And they're double-sided because I think there might be like a reduced side on some of these or different capabilities. These are all midfielders. Those are some forwards there. Here's a, is this a defender? Yeah, this is a defender. Anyway, so those are all the different players. Some of these are no-face players. So these might be like starting guys that you start out with on the team. Who knows? I got to get into that. Anyway, so there you have it. There's quite a bit of stuff in this box, and I still have some expansions to cover yet today as well. Ooh, don't want to tip that over. So there you have it. This is 11. This goes to 11, and let me know what that reference is. This is what you get in the box. There's a lot more things than 11 in this box right here. Oh, there's another 11 reference I forgot about as well. Anyway, how strange. Anyway, so there you go. That is 11 Football Manager. Quite a bit of content in here in this box. Looks like there's quite a bit of gameplay in this box, quite a bit of replayability in this box. I've seen some, this is relatively new, so there's not a lot of commentary out there, but I saw one, big time a YouTuber that does a lot of Euro games and some other types of games as well, but mainly Euro games. And what was on his list of not going to play it anymore. It was a fine game, like the gameplay, but thought that the draft, because basically at the end of the day, you're kind of drafting some of these players to get the players on your team, get the best players on your team or the transfers. And he thought that was a little lackluster, that there wasn't as much difference or variety of the number of players to make the decisions that interesting. And, thought it was fine. Everything worked, but, wasn't excited about that. For me, I'll get some expansion. I think there's going to be more players coming in expansions. I think there's a lot of gameplay here and all the other managing aspects. So I'm not getting it just for the drafting aspect and for the match play, although that's a big part of this. But I'm looking at it for the whole enchilada, right? I'm looking at it from all the managing aspects and the other decisions that you have to make to keep this game going forward. And if I come to find out that, but there's still not that many huge decisions at the player level, well, then I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I'm so far everything I've looked in here looks very interesting. The one downside of kind of Portal games is they get a little complex for their britches. I mean, the rule books are generally fine. But they are a European company, and so sometimes there's some stuff lost in the translation, and sometimes it's not as clear as I'd hoped. Everything looks great, the rulebook looks good and laid out good, but there's been times where I'm like, all right, what am I supposed to do here? So it does suffer from that sometimes, especially in games that have a lot going on. Anyway, so that's what I have for you today on my first of many installments on Sanctuary Sunday or Sanctuary Soccer Sunday. Let me know if you think this scores a goal. All right, that's all I can do there. Anyway, love to know what you think about this or any other soccer games out there. A spoiler alert, I will be doing a coverage of my soccer games or some of my soccer games. It won't be that long. I don't have very many, and this will be one of them, right? Anyway, take care. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about this or anything that's on your mind. Just keep it civil and have a great day. Thanks for watching.